Hi, everyone. When we are young, we are taught about the founding of America. We learn about revolutionaries who recognized that the system in which they lived was deeply flawed. We learn of the writing of the founding documents of our nation, of the Declaration of Independence, and the grievances laid upon the colonies by a king so divorced from the common people he could never conceptualize the cruelty his actions and greed wrought, nor did he care. We learn about the Constitution, a document meant to serve as the foundation of our democracy, and the system, the very basic tenets to which all Americans should aspire, and the system of checks and balances set up to create a democracy capable of growth, of change, but strong enough to withstand tyranny and radicalism with the passage of time. We are taught that the ideals laid out in our Declaration were meant for everyone, that these rights are inalienable, that it is simply by being born within our borders, by breathing American air, we are gifted protections of our dignity, our personhood. It is said that these rights are owed every man: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Therefore, no government should impede on these pursuits, for it is beyond the government's purview to do so. We are taught that these ideals make us a beacon, an exception, and an example for the world to see. Early life does its whether best to place in our hearts a deep pride and patriotism at the sight of our flag, at the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner, at the sight of red, white, and blue. However, as we grow, it is our solemn duty to recognize that what we are taught these words mean and what they actually mean are two very different things. We are raised to see our country through rose-colored glasses of American exceptionalism. We grow up thinking that it is a reality. As children, we believe that no nation on earth has what we have. Exceptionalism tells us that our country is the greatest, its people the smartest, its programs the kindest. And in our naivety, we believe this to be true. But then we experience more. We live life and that rosy color fades. We see the cracks in the glass distorting the image we once had of a bright and shimmering nation on a hill. And for the first time, we recognize exceptionalism as what it is: a lie, at least in the way that's taught to us. You see, American exceptionalism speaks not to a reality, but an ideal, an idea. Its aim is perfection and loyalty and love for a nation, and it achieves that, but in doing so, it lulls us into a false sense that there is nothing more to be done. Especially those of us with privilege begin to think and believe that the way things are is the way that they will be, the way that they should be. But this ignores that. For most Americans, the reality is far from exceptional, and real change is an imperative. We cannot afford to ignore this necessity. From the very words that populated these founding documents to the myriad of ethnicities that make up America's population, we are a nation of ideas and conflicts and hope and struggle. With clear eyes, we recognize that a republic was not made by people who assumed they had no power or people comfortable enough in their privilege to ignore Britain's exploitation. It was forged in the hands of people who saw a problem, who recognized injustice, and took action to change their reality. That is where we find ourselves today. Unlike the founders, such as they were, we have never known anything but democracy. We see its presence and our freedom as a given because we were taught this was so. However, a democracy is only as strong as its people. It is only as resilient as those who tend to it, and we have paid it too little mind for far too long, and we're starting to watch it fall apart. It's time that we recognize that inaction and ignorance from all perspectives has laid the groundwork for the flagrant disregard of human rights we see around us today. This is not a call for violent revolution. It is a call for impassioned participation. Today, we are gathered to honor and continue the cause of John Lewis, the many causes of him, a man whose life's work was exposing institutional injustice. We stand shoulder to shoulder to defend the rights of every person who breathes American air. We are arm in arm in the face of injustice. We lift our voices in song to inspire freedom and hope, and we hold out our hands to those who have fallen and open our hearts and arms to those in pain. But most importantly, we gather here today to bear witness to our nation as it reveals its true self. Clearer and clearer, we see what lies beneath, and unblinkered we compare. We look at that ideal to which we aspire and speak the truth. We are nowhere close to the nation we were taught existed beyond our doors. But in our hearts, the fire to acknowledge and change burns true. Let us bring forth good trouble into this world so that one day the children of America know a life that reaches ever closer to that exceptional ideal, where all persons are created equal, where life is respected, individual liberty celebrated, and the pursuit of happiness a possibility for all.